happened on December 29th, Wednesday night. The first game is the New York Knicks beating the Detroit Pistons as they should. The Knicks, they won 3 straight, but this game was not easy. It was a comeback win, and it was put up by the bench players. If you look at the minutes, all the starters got, even Julius Randle got just the 26 minutes, and he was bad. 2 for 11, 10 rebound, 5 assists is all right, but Randle has been really, really bad. Buy low if you can. To me, he's still a top 50 player. I think we talked about it. It was a back-to-back, so obviously he's not going to have a full gas tank on the second night of the back-to-back. RJ, just not a great fantasy player, I think. At this point, we all know it. Mitchell Robinson, Kemba even, who's been playing super well, didn't get the minutes. So I would think that Tom Thibodeau would still give guys like Randle 33 minutes no matter what. But this game, he just decided to say, hey, F it. Just going to give it to all the bench players. Quentin Grimes played just 12, 13 minutes. Yeah. And if you look at the bench players, led by Emmanuel Quickly, who's got 35 minutes, you just really can't predict these things. And Alec Burks, who was a drop prior to this game, only getting 50 minutes. And now he played 20. Well, he only played 27 minutes, but he went off 34 points. Use this opportunity to sell him high to get any value back. The next game, he could just be getting 20 minutes because Thibodeau is going to mess around with the minutes. Not every single game, but every once in a while. Yeah. And this game, Evan Fournier was a late scratch as well. So the Knicks rotation, I would say other than Randle, nobody is safe. So if they play well, it's time to sell them. And for the Detroit Pistons, Saddiq Bey, what a game. And what a game for Hamidou Diallo. Both guys. Saddiq Bey, with Jeremy Grant out, he's been playing better. The shots are falling at a higher rate in the last 2 weeks. Let's see. Where is Saddiq Bey? 32nd ranked player. Unbelievable. 24 points, 3.3 threes. Still just shooting 45%, but he played 7 games, averaged 39 minutes. Kate Cunningham was out a couple of those games, but I don't know. His efficiency seemed to improve a little bit. Well, not a little bit. He's probably shooting sub 40% close to sub 40% on the season. But with these guys out, he's just been playing much better. Let me check the season stats real quick. Yeah, on the season, he's shooting 37%. So that's a huge 8% jump. 45% is not great, but it's okay. Consider the amount of threes he takes. So really, really good game. Obviously, try to sell him for any top, do a 2-for-1. Try to sell him for a top 50, 60 player. Who knows when Jeremy Grant comes back? And Kate Cunningham, he's not gonna have this usage. Diallo, same thing, a very, very big sell high. I think we know that given the minutes, he's going to put out numbers. Even back when he was in Oklahoma City, really good field goal and some defensive stats and rebound. He did exactly that. Free throw is an issue. But try to sell him. He fouled out in 39 minutes as well. Try to sell him, try to get any value. Otherwise, do a 2-for-1 to get 50, 60. If you're talking about like top 90, top 100, maybe just write it out. Top 100 in the playoffs, guys that are top 100 players, unless they fit your team build, they could all be droppable guys. Luka Gaza played 39 minutes, had 9 rebounds, and still in a block. He's a guy we could stream, but he went 1 for 10 this game. Crazy. He's a guy we could stream if you need a center for some big man stats. But clearly, he's not a great field goal guy. Went 1 for 10 here. Derek Walton Jr. is another dude that came in. Well, they're hit with a lot of injuries as well, obviously. Kate is going to be back. I would check the schedule. Frank Jackson also got hurt this game. So I would check the injury report and make decisions next game if I were to stream Derek Walton Jr. Because these guys are going to have some huge usage in the next few games if Kate Cunningham continues to be out. Let's go to the next game. The Charlotte Hornets beat the Indiana Pacers 116-108. Hornets how they doing lately? 5-5, so average they've been doing. They got all their guys back. Other than I guess PJ Washington, but the main guys are back. Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball, both play really well. LaMelo Ball, a pretty well, not a subpar game actually, almost a triple double with really good efficiency. Terry Rozier is a sell high. Sell him for top 30, 40 player if you can. I just don't really buy it. He's been doing it 2 seasons in a row now. Last year he was like top 35, top 40 player. If you can get a top 30, if you can get him for Vucevic, this is something I'll be looking to do. Yeah, that's something I'll be looking to do. Really, he doesn't. Let's see, last 2 weeks. Terry Rozier. That last 2 weeks, okay, just 112th ranked player. So this is just a good game from him. And like I said, like if you can get a Vucevic, although Vucevic has been playing really well. If you can get like Bradley Beal, I doubt people are gonna do that trade. But maybe Terry Rozier plus somebody for Bradley Beal if he heats up. He's gonna give you some points, yes, some threes, but everything else, I don't know if he can go back to the 1.45 steals he was getting last year. And I don't know if he can do that efficiency. Like last year, it was like 49%, right? Everything else, he didn't really give you that much. Not a lot of rebound, not a lot of assist. You know, it doesn't get to the free throw line all that much either. Something to think about. Mason Plumlee, another great game. He's got to be a stream, you know, getting 30 plus minutes. Free throw is an issue. He doesn't make threes, but everything else is great. Gordon Hayward is a guy, you know, ranking-wise, he's going to be top 50, 60, but I just don't really like what he brings to the table. Just a lot of efficiency, right? To me, you know, if the guy has some efficiency, again, it depends on your team. Like, if you got a lot of high-volume scorers like Donovan Mitchell, who's going to take a lot of Jason Tatum, if you have an efficient guy like Gordon Hayward, it doesn't really matter because the rankings doesn't consider what Basketball Monster rankings. They don't consider on average how many in category leagues, of course, like how many shots your team takes collectively. So it might just be average. So some teams are gonna an efficient team. If you're building out an efficient team, more likely, you know, your team's shoot, you know, number of field goals is gonna be lower. So again, it depends on your team. Right, if you have an all-around efficient team, sure. But if you have some, you know, large volume scorers who might be like a 46, 47, but if they throw you, they throw you. It doesn't really. It's the same thing with free throws. Like I know a couple years ago, if you have like DeMarcus Cousins on your team, would be an example. Like his free throw percentage might be like a 77, which means some weeks he's gonna be 90%. Perfect, fine, no worries. Some weeks he's gonna be 65%, just completely destroy your free throw. So it doesn't really matter. Like if he shoots 65%, it doesn't really matter if you got somebody that make 90% free throw on 3 attempts, right? Because it doesn't matter because you're just gonna lose free throws if your opponents have decent free throws. So that's always been my thought process. It maybe it doesn't make sense, maybe it's not right. I just like counting stats over the efficiencies a lot of the times. But yeah, Gordon Hayward this game, all right. 18 points, 2 steals. Kelly Oubre Jr. should have tried to sell him. Now it's over and 1 for 5. He's a drop for sure. I think 24 minutes, not really providing much, and such a negative free throw guy as well. Cody Martin, coming back from COVID, he hasn't had a great game. It could be a streamer from time to time, but now with everybody back, you know, gotta drop him. For the Indiana Pacers, Brogdon was out. Brogdon, this dude gets hurt a lot, I think, at this point. Every single year we see him get hurt, and it's not even we're not even in the second half of the season yet. So Karis LeVert played 39 minutes. What a game. He's been heating up. 27 points, 7 for 9 from the free throw line, 8 for 20. You know, those are not ideal efficiency-wise for sure. 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals is really good. 27 points, really good. 4 threes. I would obviously try to sell him. This game, Brogdon wasn't there, and we know his efficiency issues. But the counting stats are really, really solid. Chris Duarte, 23 minutes, didn't really do much. He's there borderline, like, not a must roster, but, you could have him as your worst player, Provide some threes and points with alright efficiency. Sabonis, 37 minutes, great game. Really bad free throw shooter. If you got him on your team, you definitely want to pound free throws. 18 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals and a block. 6 turnovers is bad, but overall, Sabonis has been providing pretty solid counting stats. Miles Turner had 4 blocks. Yeah, so lately Miles Turner has been, at least NBA.com listing him as a power forward now. So I don't know if that has anything to do with what happened in the actual games. But he had 4 blocks here, so no worries. Justin Holiday played pretty high minutes. He's a steals and threes specialist. If you need those 2 categories, you could stream him. Let's go to the next game. The LA Clippers, of course, without Paul George, still beat the Celtics. Doesn't really matter. Everybody's beating the Celtics. Celtics, to be fair to them, they were without Jason Tatum, but they still have Jaylen Brown this game, right? Yeah. LA Clippers, without their 2 stars, Kawhi obviously still out and is now close. Let's see. Marcus Morris Sr., priority number 1 pickup on this team. I think he could average close to 20 points before Paul George comes back. He's gonna give you a lot of points and threes and some rebounds. The thing is, not a lot of assists, not a lot of defensive stats, but he needs to be rostered. He took 21 shots here. Terrence Mann also, we could look at him, but the problem with him is he doesn't score a lot. He doesn't get a lot of defensive stats. He doesn't get a lot of assists or rebounds. The playing time is there. The upside is kind of limited. Ivan Zubac played 30 minutes, took just 3 shots, missed all 3 of them, 14 rebounds. Sure. He provides, we know what he provides and what he doesn't provide. So you know what you're going to get out of him. Rebounds and some efficiency and every once in a while some blocks. Luke Canard, another guy we could for sure have on our roster, can provide very, very solid threes and points. Very, very solid threes, I would say. He could be a Buddy Hield type of player in 35-minute role with Paul George out, of course. Eric Bledsoe also a must roster. Reggie Jackson, at least till Reggie Jackson comes back. And then we check his minutes. If he's not getting 30 minutes, then we could drop him. Amir Coffey, not really interested in him, even though he got 28 minutes. For the Boston Celtics, expected Jaylen Brown took 36 field goals. That's just really bad, to be honest. That's just really bad. You got to move the ball a little bit more, man. I know Jason Tatum is out. Yeah, not great, to be honest. From Jaylen Brown. And 1 for 13. He clearly didn't have it going. Or playing the money. I mean, they scored 82 points. So, come on, move the ball a little bit. You got some power, offensive power. Al Horford, what a game. 3 for 14. That doesn't happen. He missed 7 threes, so can't really blame. It's not like he's forcing things. I didn't watch the game, but I'm pretty sure all the threes he took are pretty decent looks. He's not going to jack up a threes, like pull up threes. That's not Al Horford. So those 7 3-pointer shot, if let's say 2 of them fall, this is an even better line, 15 points for 5. But the peripheral stats are very, very solid. 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Where's Al Horford in the last 2 weeks? Wow. Yeah, 28th ranked player. He's gonna have games where you look at the stat, you go like, wow, why am I holding this guy? And then you have games like this. This is exactly why you have him on your roster. Good stuff. A top 50 player. But he might miss some games. So after games like this, I would think about trying to sell him. Do a 2-for-1 to see if he can get a top 40 player, maybe 35, maybe a Vucevic. Sorry, Vucevic will be a bad example because he keeps going off. Maybe get like a Shea, who hasn't, the points Shea providing is pretty solid, but everything else is pretty bad. So try to do those Shea. Do a 2-for-1s. See if anybody bites. Robert Williams, 28 minutes. 2 blocks is nice. Had 10 offensive rebound, and Celtics still couldn't get the win. How many offense? They got 21 offensive rebound. They still lost because they shot 34%. This is not great. Fantasy wise, Robert Williams is up and down, but a must roster. I think we all know that. Romeo Langford, he had 4 steals and 5 blocks last game. 4 steals, 3 blocks. This game, none. So he's not a. Let's not worry about him. Marcus Smart should be back. So Peyton Pritchard, we could continue to stream him until Dennis Schroeder or whoever. I think he's a decent fantasy player, but this game, even though he played 34 minutes, took just 10 shots because Jaylen Brown has the ball in his hands all the time, and Jaylen Brown had exactly 0 assists. Not great. Josh Richardson came back and played. He's a guy we could stream. Had 3 steals and a block, but I wouldn't count on it. He's no longer that Miami Heat Josh Richardson. At this point, he provides some threes and points. That's mainly about it. Let's look at the next game. The Atlanta Hawks, high-scoring game. We went from 91 to 82 to 117, 131. That helps fantasy for sure. Cam Reddish, great game. Cam Reddish is a must roster with all those guys out. A must roster. 14 points, 2 steals and a block. The efficiency is going to be rough, but he's been putting up pretty good lines. Charlie Brown Jr. played 32 minutes. He would probably given a 10-day contract. Atlanta Hawks were struggling to find 8 guys to play. So they signed a bunch of guys with 10-day contracts. Let's not worry about those guys, to be honest. Let's not worry about those guys. Clint Capella, alright game without everybody out. No defensive stats, but 15 rebounds. Skylar Mays, yep. Another one of those guys. I mean, even Malcolm Hill doesn't even have a picture on him. Wow, Lance Stevenson. They give Lance Stevenson 12 minutes. Really not much to talk about, but Cam Reddish is a must roster. They have nobody right now. Trae Young 26 and 11, but can't really blame that. It's really just 3 NBA guys, and the rest of the guys are 10 on 10-day contracts. So I'm surprised the Bulls only beat them by 14 points. But clearly they didn't play any defense. They scored 131 points. Javonte Graham, 22 minutes, had a pretty good game, 14 points, 2 steals and a block. But the minutes not really there. On most nights, he's not really doing much. 2 steals and a block here is good. But I think we have better options out there. DeRozan, 20 and 8 with 1 block. An alright game from DeRozan. And I keep talking about Vucevic, but he's back. 20 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block, 16 points. Vucevic in the last 2 weeks. So Lonzo Ball is out. This is the time. I don't think necessarily like Lonzo Ball is holding Vucevic back. Maybe it's because, I don't know. I want to say maybe because Lonzo Ball is out, Vucevic is saying I'm going to take over now. But when Zach LaVine was out, he didn't do that. So I don't know. Something changed with Vuce. 10th ranked player in the last 2 weeks, averaging 14 rebounds, 1.2 steals, and 1.8 blocks. So he's just more aggressive on both ends of the floor, and he shot the ball well, 51%. So maybe finally he's integrated into this team. Maybe. Took him a while, but he's finally playing better. Really good stuff, 20 rebounds, yeah, good stuff. If you bought low on him, congratulations. The buy low window is closed for sure. Zach LaVine, 25 points, very, very efficient, only took 13 shots, 5 threes. But Zach LaVine, every time I look at his stats, the numbers, the points and threes are nice, but nothing else usually. I also have 4 turnovers. Kobe White, wow. I thought he's going to just be a points and threes guy. He had 12 assists here. That is pretty impressive by Kobe White. But once Lonzo Ball comes back, he's going to lose his value. I think he's still, like, the rest of the week, it could be a good stream. Just got to watch out for your field goals, though. Let's look at the next game. The LA Clippers lost to the Grizzlies. This is another ugly loss by the Lakers. LeBron, wow, 38 minutes. And Russell Westbrook, 40 minutes. Are they going to have anything left in the tank? I have no idea. LeBron took 14 threes this game. 8 for 14. LeBron James, in the last 2 weeks, he's the 4th ranked player. On the season, LeBron James is the 3rd ranked player, behind Jokic and Curry. But as I said many times, if you can get KD, can get Jimmy Butler. I think Joel Embiid on a per game basis should also be better than LeBron, even though both guys, they might miss a bunch of games. We don't know. LaMelo Ball, James Harden, like all these guys, I take them over LeBron. But yeah, I mean, he's just proving me wrong every single time. Every single game, to be honest, putting up huge lines after huge line. I can't think. Look at this line. There's nothing. And another thing is he's been hitting his free throws this year. He's not like 85%, but 78, 77. Last year he was low 70s, right? That's almost, if a percentage 5% worse, you're in upon free throw category with LeBron. But that's not the case this year. So he's been fairly good, very, very good. 3 for 3 here. So good fantasy numbers, just struggling team, getting the win. Malik Monk, 15 points. He's been getting huge minutes. He's been playing fairly well. If you need points and threes, he could be a good stream. But I wouldn't roster him because, the Lakers, they mainly ran by LeBron and Russell Westbrook. All the other guys, they're playing within the flow of the offense. So it's not guaranteed they're going to get theirs. LeBron and Russell Westbrook are going to get theirs. Dwight Howard, what's going on with him? Avery Bradley, huge minutes. Let's not worry about him. And Russell Westbrook had just the 5 turnovers, another triple-double. But looks like with LeBron, Russell Westbrook's triple-double is not stopping. He still finds a way to get them. Carmelo Anthony played 30 minutes, not the best game. But with AD out, he's a guy we could stream, we could roster. You could go both ways. Depend on, what you need. If you need points and if you need 3 points, you can roster Carmelo for sure. And Taylor Horton, wow, played just 19 minutes. He's a drop everywhere. I still think he could be good, but with LeBron and Russell Westbrook, he's just a spot-up shooter. He doesn't do anything else. So, if LeBron is out, maybe you could look for Taylor Horton Tucker. But now he's got no confidence. All the talk that he's trash is getting to him. Maybe, I don't know. Let's just drop him everywhere. For the Grizzlies, Kyle Anderson is a pickup. Played 30 minutes. Didn't really do anything this game, but he should be a pickup. Jaren Jackson Jr. did not have the best game. He's been shooting the ball pretty poorly lately. He played really well, I think, for a stretch with Ja Morant out. Ja Morant comes back to 27 field goals. This is actually not great. It's like Jaylen Brown. There's no point for you to take 27 unless you want to prove. I guess he has something to prove versus a team like the Lakers. But when you're the point guard, when you have the ball in your hands, he took these many shots. He had only 2 assists here as well. He got his 41 points. All right, 10 rebounds. But I don't know if his teammates will be very. I guess that's fine. Desmond Bain got his. Jaren Jackson got his. But the rest of the guys, when they on the court playing with Ja Morant, they just standing around. He took 27 shots. The Grizzlies total took 85, and he played 35. So when he's on the court, he pretty much took, let's see, maybe 40% of the field goals total. Yeah. But stat-wise, great. Had 6 turnovers as well. Desmond Bain is a huge sell high. Once Dylan Brooks comes back, Dylan Brooks is gonna get his, and then Desmond Bain. It's not great. So try to do a 2-for-1s. His rankings also have been good. I think will be a really good opportunity to sell him. You gotta try it. If not, what are you gonna do? Steven Adams, played 26 minutes, but nothing this game. He's a rebound streamer. That's all he is. Rebound streamer. Let's go to the next game, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shea was a late scratch, so of course they should lose to the Phoenix Suns. But Aaron Wiggins, wow, 38 minutes, 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 steals. He's a guy we should monitor and see what happens with him. If he get consistent 30 minutes, we could look to have him on our team. I think he also played decently well last game around. So we'll see. Paul Watson, 36 minutes. Let's not worry about him. Jermaine Robertson Earl out, so Isaiah Roby started and fouled out in 19 minutes. If Jermaine Robertson Earl continues to be out, we could stream Isaiah Roby, but just remember the efficiency might be rough, but he does provide some solid numbers and defensive stats. Lou Dort, 35 minutes, 3 for 18. Yeah, that's not his game. He's got to start shooting a bit less. And yeah. But if he shoots less, he's really not fantasy relevant. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal, a block is all right. Ty Jerome really wanted to prove himself. Got an opportunity. The number 1 guy on this team. Put up a decent line, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. But the rest of the guys, not really worried about. Josh Giddey's going to be out at least till next week. Shea, we don't know. He might be back next game. It was a back-to-back, maybe just maintenance reasons. But if Shea continues to miss games, Ty Jerome is a pickup, clearly, and Aaron Wiggins. For the Phoenix Suns, Mikal Bridges played 33 minutes, 5 points, 7 rebounds. Yeah, his counting is not really impressive. If you're a team that pounding turnovers or field goals, you have to try to trade him. Cameron Johnson, I think we still want to hold him. Play just 23 minutes, but with Jay Crowder out, he should have some good, decent values in the short term. Just 12 points and 6 rebounds in 23 minutes here. But he's very, very efficient from the field. He usually doesn't turn the ball over, so he won't hurt you anywhere. He's a guy very nice to have. JaVale McGee played 27 minutes with DeAndre Ayton out. He's a must roster with Ayton out. Very solid rebound, blocks, and field goal. 8 for 12 on the free throw line is not ideal, but 16 points. Devin Booker versus Oklahoma City, he decided to take over. Usually, superstars, I don't know. Like when you're playing an inferior team like this, Devin Booker just wanted to get his, I suppose. 38 points is really, really good. 5 assists, 2 blocks. Good stuff on Devin Booker. And Chris Paul just kind of took it easy. It was Oklahoma City Thunder. Just the 5 assists. Still got 2 steals, 10 points. Jalen Smith got the backup center minutes and played well. I don't think it will be. DeAndre Ayton might be back soon, and JaVale McGee is still the starter. So I wouldn't go pick up Jalen Smith after just 1 game, although this game looked really pretty, the stats. Cameron Payne played 30 minutes. Good stuff. 7 assists and steals. He's a streamer. If you want assists and steals, he's a good streamer. But that's about the only things he provides, usually. He provides some scoring as well this game. Let's go to the next game. The Utah Jazz beat the Portland Trailblazers. Every time I look at the Portland Trailblazers, what are they? They're 12th. They lost 3 straight. I don't know if you own Damian Lillard, you have to. We'll talk about Damian Lillard later, but we talk about the Jazz first. Without Donovan Mitchell, it doesn't really matter. They got another wing. Bogdanovich, 15 points. Very, very boring numbers. Same thing with Royce O'Neal. Basically did nothing. Rudy Gobert, 14 rebounds, 2 blocks, 22, and 6 for 12 from the free throw line. This is the problem with Rudy. But the defensive stats are very solid. Field goal and blocks. He did exactly that. Joe Ingles, if you straight him, unfortunately, he didn't do anything. And Donovan Mitchell might be back next game, so he's a drop. Drop him and stream somebody else. And you would think Mike Conley would take more shots. That's not the case. The shots probably went to Jordan Clarkson and Rudy Gay. Without Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley just averaged 15 points and 6 assists and a steal. Whiteside coming off the bench is a guy you could always stream for some rebound and blocks. Very, very solid in those 2 categories. Jordan Clarkson, this is not going to continue. I think we all know that. 30 minutes here without Donovan Mitchell. 2 steals is obviously nice. And Rudy Gay, after had 21 points, this is like maybe his second good game. His first game was nice. He scored like 20 points in 15 minutes or something like that. And then he had like 10 bad games in a row. And with Donovan Mitchell out, he had a solid, but he's not really fantasy relevant. If Joe Ingles gets traded, then maybe we could potentially look at Rudy Gay to get a few more minutes. He's a good fantasy player given the minutes, but usually, when he's given on the Spurs, he had like 20 to 25 minute role. So I don't think even with people out, he won't be given like a 30-minute role anyways. That's just him at this point. Come off the bench and get some buckets. For the Portland Trail Blazers, Damian Lillard, 32. This is obviously nice that Damian Lillard is doing it, but you have to try to dribble. All the situations is pointing to a potential shutdown. I know people say no, he won't get shut down. Shutdowns just don't happen. With him, because he has the injury, is the abdominal area, he's basically taking shots to keep himself going. If he doesn't get traded, and the 12th seed, by the time we get to the fantasy playoffs, he's gonna sit out back-to-backs. He's gonna miss games, or he's gonna come in and just not try. He's still clearly trying this game, obviously. But if you want Damian Lillard to play, if you own Damian Lillard, they have to start winning some games, first of all. Second of all, you just hope the injuries, he's going to keep taking the shots. If he doesn't take the shots, the pain is too much for him, right? So he has to keep taking the shots. I don't know any side effects of taking those shots. At some point, just like Kyrie, I think I already talked about this. Kyrie with his shoulder thing a couple years ago, right? Shoulder is bothering him. It's a pain tolerance. Kyrie took a shot, but afterwards it came back. Kyrie was like, F it, I'm just going to do a surgery. I'm not going to keep playing. So if I own Damian Lillard, I would really try to sell him. To try to get a Bradley Beal. I think that would be a really nice trade. They're both first rounders. You would think that ranking wise, Damian Lillard right now is ways ahead of Bradley Beal. And they also provide similar stats, but Damian Lillard obviously way better, make way more threes than Beal. Norman Powell, great game. Norman Powell is gonna have another huge season. Somehow, some way, every single year, Norman Powell finds a way to be a top 50 player. On the season, after this game, let's see where Norman Powell is. He is he's the 92nd ranked player on the season. So not so great. 18 points, 2.2 threes, 46% from the field. So those are pretty okay numbers. But I probably expect him to make a bit more threes. 2.7 rebound is too bad. 2.1 assists. 0.9 steals. So there's a couple of categories he could go up. He could be a top 50 player, to be honest. The way things are in Portland, he could be. Larry Nance Jr. in the short term is a must. Probably a sell high. Play 32 minutes is a really good game. This is why we love Larry Nance Jr. This is why whenever he gets minutes, Josh Lloyd tells her, yeah, he's a must roster. Yes, that's why, because he can provide in so many categories. 9 assists, he's not going to do that very often, but he can get you 4 assists a game, playing 30 minutes. He can get you rebound. He's a good field goal guy. This game against the Jazz, it was against Rudy Gobert, so that's understandable. And he gets steals, he gets some blocks. Free throw is an issue, but he's a really good fantasy player. Try to sell him, do a 2-for-1 to see if he can get any 50 player. Otherwise, just hold. He might lose some minutes when all the guys come back, but he may not. We don't know. Nasa Little, I thought he was a good pickup. This game played just 23 minutes, so let's not worry about him. And Tony Snell. Guy never does anything when he gets the minutes. And Anfernee Simons did get 29 minutes, just the 7 points. Let's not worry about with Damian Lillard playing healthy. I think we don't worry about him. Let's talk about the last game of the night. The Dallas Mavericks lost to the Kings by 1 point. Luka Doncic still, COVID protocol. He might be back next week. So Porzingis, another huge game. I want to say Porzingis is a sell high, but he's been fairly healthy. I don't know. Porzingis, when you try to sell him, you're not going to get top 20 value back. And this year, on a per game basis, he's a 10th ranked player. So if you're not going to get a top 20 player back, why trade him? Just hold him. and hope he plays a lot of games. He did play 25 games. He played 25 games already this year. That's already good enough value, and we're like not even halfway through the season. So if he plays, I think if he plays 55 games, is a win. 55. I mean, if we get to up to 60, that would be really. 55, yeah. 55, 60 games is will be a win for Kristaps Porzingis owners, I think. Yeah, really good stats around all around. Dorian Finney-Smith fouled out in 26 minutes. Otherwise, I think he's still a very solid hold. Dwight Powell, 27 minutes, just doesn't have good fantasy numbers. Frank Ntilikina, same thing. He can get you some steals. Otherwise, let's not worry about him. And Jalen Brunson is a huge sell high. The strategy with those guys is try to do a 2-for-1 to see you can get any top 50, 60, 50 player. Otherwise, just write it out. Isaiah Thomas now is on the Mavericks. Play 30 minutes. Yeah, the guy played on the Lakers, now playing on the Mavericks. Good for him. I'm not even sure, like, without all the COVID stuff, is he gonna, like, he won't be on a team, right? I feel like that's the case. Yeah. But for the Mavericks, other than Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, Kristaps Porzingis, like, nobody really is that good fantasy-wise. I mean, to be honest, like, Dorian Finney-Smith and Jalen Brown, they're all borderline. Like, if Dorian Doncic is back, they're all borderline players. Jalen Brunson provides some assists. Dorian Finney-Smith provides some rebound threes and a little bit steals. But they're not like fantastic fantasy players given the minutes. For the Kings, I think Harrison Barnes is not a must roster, even though the minutes is there. Because he really just give you one category at this point. I guess he has some solid rebound as well. An alright game again, 14.6 rebound, 2 threes, and nothing else. Marvin Bagley got another start. Points and rebounds, and nothing else. In points leagues, he could be rostered, but in category leagues, I think we all know let's not really worry about him. Richaun Holmes, the minutes is up and up and up. Let's see where things go. This game still not great. Did a bit everything, but I have pretty high standard for Richaun Holmes. To me, he's like a top 30 player in standard in 9 category leagues. He's not there yet, obviously. And with De'Aaron Fox back, Tyrese Haliburton had an alright game. Had a decent game yesterday. Not yesterday, two days ago. They had a back-to-back. Had 12 assists, and 10 assists is still nice, and 12 points. But they kind of eat into each other. They got the win, but De'Aaron Fox, 16 points, 3 assists, and a steal. He has not been good coming back from COVID. And while he was out, Tyrese Haliburton was running the offense. So now they have to integrate him back. We don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. De'Aaron Fox, I want to say a buy low, but you got to be careful when you buy him, right? It's like a Russell Westbrook, bad field goal, bad free throw, tends to blow over a lot. If you got already got a Russell Westbrook, I guess you could pay a higher price for him. But this is the Trinity: Kevin Porter Jr., De'Aaron Fox, and Russell Westbrook. Those 3 guards, they're just so bad efficiency-wise. And I guess Luka Doncic as well. You stack those guys, you might have a good team. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox, pretty disappointing season so far. Is he gonna turn it around? Maybe he will. So I think it's a buy low, but just throw some. I look at him as just a top 50 player, even though his ranking might be way worse than the top 50 player. But the counting stats are very, very solid. So if I'm punting a few categories, if he makes sense in my team build, I would go get him. And all the bench guys, I mean, what's going on? Chimezie Metu, 20 minutes. Buddy Hield now with everybody back, just 23 minutes. I'm gonna hold Buddy for a few more games, and hope he gets more. Otherwise, he's gonna be a drop, unfortunately. There's just because Davion Mitchell came back, coming and played 18 minutes. I mean, what are you gonna do? Terrence Davis with Davion Mitchell back didn't even get a minute. So yeah, it's rough Buddy Hield, I would hold for 3 more games and see where things go. And that's it, guys. That's all the games. I'll see you guys tomorrow.